my name's Sarah Brown. Welcome back to the Lockdown Patchwork Project YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a zippy bag. Hundreds of these have been made through my classes over the years, and they are a great way to gain confidence in working with zips. So to make the zippy bag we need 2 pieces of fabric for the outer, 2 pieces exactly the same size for the inner, and these 4 pieces of fabric are each 10 inches wide by 6.5 inches deep. Now for this method of making a zippy bag you also need a zip, obviously, and so I've cut this zip, nice bright pink one so you can see what I'm doing, and it needs to be 1 inch shorter either end than the zippy bag you're making. So for this one, this is 8 inches long. If I was making a zippy bag that was 20 inches wide, then the zip will be cut to 18 inches wide, so you've still got that inch at either side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these pieces of fabric and we're going to first of all fold them in half, and then fold them in the 2 raw edges into the middle. Now you know you've got this right if when you look at that it looks heart-shaped. That's correct. So we're going to do that with that one, and then you pop it over the end of the zip like that. And I'm just going to pin that in place. And then we're going to do exactly the same at the other end, and then I'm going to go and stitch them on, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. That's folded. So again we've got the heart showing, making a bit of a dog's dinner of this. There we are. There's your heart shape, and then what we'll do is pop that over this other end of the zip. Now with this zip, open the zip a little bit just so that you can get those 2 ends really close together. If you feel more comfortable, you can actually stitch them together before you do this, but you just pop that end over there, tuck them all in, pin it in place, and now I'm going to stitch them. We now have the zip with the folded fabric on either end stitched in place with 2 lines of stitching, and now we're going to place the zip, the wrong side of the zip, to the right side of the lining like that, and you're matching those raw edges along there, and you're making sure you've got the same space either end. You're then going to place this along that edge like that. Now the thing to remember when you're stitching the zip in is that you need to stitch the zip halfway, then move the zip head back, and then stitch the rest of the way along, because if you don't do that you'll find you stitch round the zip head and you won't get a straight line of stitching. So I've now stitched along here with the zipper foot on my sewing machine, and now we have got 1/2 of the zippy bag complete. So we've got the outer fabric stitched to one side and the lining stitched the other. And now we're going to do exactly the same, and we're going to put the right side of the lining like that, and we're going to do the same with the zip. So it's going to line up like that. Now it's easier to line this half up because you just line up the other sides with the other side of your fabric like that. And don't forget this will overlap because the one that is already completed is longer. And we're going to pop that over there, and then I'm going to pin it all in place, and then I'm going to stitch all the way along there. So we've now got both halves of the outer fabric stitched either side of the zip, and you can see that the zip space is the same both sides. That's how it's supposed to be. Then if we flip it over, the lining is stitched like that. So the next step is to open the zip. even if it's only partially, open the zip, because if you try and open the zip after you've done this next step, there'll be a lot of rude words flying around. So we now need to match up the 2 fronts and the 2 backs, and what we need to do is nest those seams. So on this one we're going to put the seam allowances going backwards, and on this one they're going to go forwards, and we're going to nest them in nice and tight and pin that plate in place just like that. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to nest that seam backwards and this one frontwards, pin it in place. Now we just need to pop a few more pins in to keep everything where it needs to be. So I'm just going to pop them in here like this. Now when we start stitching, we're going to stitch all the way around, stitch this bag all together. We're going to start here, but you need to leave a gap in the bottom about the width of your 4 fingers, because your hand has got to go in there to turn this bag through in a minute. So just get these all laid up. Now the stitching needs to be this 1/2 inch in from the edge. So if we're starting here, we'll do 1/2 inch all the way along here, and then your seam allowance along here will be 1/2 inch, and you will stitch halfway between the edge of the fabric and the tab that you've just stitched on the end of the zip that you can feel through there. That is correct. There's just enough room for the foot of your sewing machine to go through there. So I'll show you when I've done that. So now you can see I have stitched all the way around. I did a backwards and forwards there, all the way around, and it's 1/2 inch all the way through. So now, having got the zip open, I've got to turn this through. I always avoid chopping off corners because it makes a weak spot, and you don't need to. So I'm just going to pull this all through like this, and then the magic happens. And all of a sudden you have a zippy bag. Looks awful like this, doesn't it? Open the zip a bit more. Turn it all through the other way. And there we go. There we have one zippy bag. There's a beautiful little corner there, and a beautiful little corner there, and I'm just now going to ease these bottom corners out with a pin so that you can see what it looks like. And it's worth getting these corners right, because it makes a handmade gift look so special when it's got all this nice little bit of finishing detail on it. And we'll do the same with the other one. Now you can use these bags as wrappings, so instead of wasting wrapping paper, you can put your gift into one of these bags. And the only thing left for me to do now is to stitch up the inside, which I will do with a slip stitch, and there we have one finished zippy bag with a pink zip, contrasting corners which match the lining. I hope you found this video useful. Please like and subscribe if you would like to see more videos like this, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching. Are we starting from the beginning again?
I don't know why isn't it winter? I want it to be winter.
I want it to be cold. Right, okay, let's start again and we'll get it right this time.